Hey guys, welcome to season 2 of Rust Rescue. We've recently moved our shop from Lancaster, South Carolina to Brooksville, Florida. And because of that move, Ms LeeAnn won't be doing many shows with us. She's still going to be popping up from time to time to give us her expertise. But that's a heck of a ride and a heck of a lot of coffee to be drinking on the way down. So, you guys are going to be seeing a lot of the finishing of the projects we started last year. And a lot of the new projects that are going to be done this year. Because of the new shop, it's a little bit smaller, not as big as what we had. So we're going to show you a lot better how you can utilize your space in your smaller home garage. We're also going to show you a little bit more detail of how to use the tools, where to find the parts, and just basically how to do what you need to do to get yourself a nice little hot rod. Hang on, and here we go. Rust Rescue Season 2 starts now. I'm Vince, but everybody calls me Taz. I've been building custom hot rods since I was a kid. I couldn't afford to buy one, so I learned how to build them. Our team rescues rusty old wrecks, and we'll teach you how to restore them for just $10,000. So if you're not afraid to pick up a wrench and get your hands dirty, we'll show you the right parts, tools, and techniques to get the job done. This is Rust Rescue. Okay, we're here at the shop. Shop is a lot smaller than it was. You can see it's just a tiny little thing. And our paint booth, I don't know if you can see that. And then just a couple of customers' cars. That is a 65 Thunderbird, and this is a 49 Chevy 3100. We just got done putting a 350 in it, and also putting in some different suspension. As you can see, let's see if we can get a good shot of it. Yeah, there it is. It is a 4-link that we're putting into this. The suspension came out of a C10, actually my C10. And that is the engine for the 71 Hemi Cuda, 426, I'm sorry. Hemi motor from 1971. So, just a few things going on. We'll take you outside and show you some of the old projects. We did deliver the fire truck. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was done. We delivered the 65 Mustang. That one is done. We delivered, shoot, I don't remember how many cars we've delivered so far, but anyway, that's kind of what we're doing here. We're just giving you a basic single camera look at the shop. So bear with us and let's go see what else we can get into. Okay guys, on today's Taz's tips and tricks, that's hard to say, we're going to be showing you the fundamentals of welding. How to set your machine up, the gear that you need to be safe, and just basically how to weld, what not to do, what to do, And then this way, when we show you how to change panels, things like that, you at least have the basic idea of how to do the welding. Okay, let's get started. Okay guys, first thing you're going to want to have is a welding jacket. Welding jacket is basically a heavy suede and material that doesn't burn. So this way, when all the sparks are flying, you don't get yourself all burned up like I do most of the time. Second thing you want to do is you want to have a welding helmet. These helmets protect your eyes. You can do some serious damage to your eyes if you weld without a helmet. I used to do that. You close your eyes, you try to catch that. It's not the same. These are self-darkening helmets, and they will save you a bunch. What I would suggest is don't go for a cheap one, because it's just not the same. They're not going to work very well, and trust me, I've already done damage to my eyes. I now have the beginnings of cataracts because of all the welding that I do. So use my experience and don't do that. Okay, second thing you want to do, or third thing actually, is you want to have a good pair of welding gloves. Most people use the heavier gloves like these. They're good. I personally don't like them because they're a little too bulky. You can't feel what you're doing. So I use the TIG welding gloves, where they're a little thinner. They don't last as long. They'll burn through probably in 6 months, and they're a little more expensive. But try them both, figure out which one is good for you, and go from there. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to show you the basics of welding. You've got 2 pieces of 20 gauge steel here. These are a little bit on the dirty side. I always suggest to grind down the welds ahead of time, or grind down the metal ahead of time to get it very clean. I'll tell you what, I think I see another piece. Here we go, nice and clean. This way we'll use this one. Now, the first thing you want to do is make sure that the metal has absolutely no gaps in it right here. If you have gaps, there's going to be a burn through. I'll show you really quick. Okay. If you look, basically it burned through the metal right here because you had a space. The metal has got to be flush, completely and totally flush, in order for you to make a decent weld. Try it again. Big difference, huh? Now, I usually do beads here, there, then basically go back and fill them in. A second way you can do it, let's see if we can get a better. Here we go. Let's try a steady. Now the problem with doing it this way is when you do a steady stream, you heat the metal up. You can see the basic heat signature here. What that's going to do if you're doing, let's say, a quarter panel or a floor pan, not too much a floor pan, but mainly a quarter panel, it's going to warp the metal. Once you warp that metal, then you've got a lot of bondo work and stuff like that to get it straight again. If you just tack, and then tack, let it cool off, then go back and go next to that one, then cool off and go back and do the next one, then you'll have a nice weld. The other way you can do this, well, the other way is TIG welding. We're not going to go into that just yet. Once you get this all done, then you grind down your welds, make them nice and smooth, and then basically you got your metal welded together. There's a little more to it than this. We'll go through it a little more depth down the road as we show you. Another way you make a decent weld is, if you notice, we put holes in this. Back in the day when they did, in the factory, when they welded stuff, they used a spot welding machine. Basically, when you're cutting off a quarter panel, a firewall, a cowl, you have to cut out the spot welds. It's not welded like this, where it's on the side like that. It's welded together through with spot welds. This is the next best way to do it. Once you put the holes in it, then what you can do is you lay it down, and basically you weld inside the hole. And if you notice, that looks a lot more like a spot weld. Once you grind that down, you'll never see the difference. It is also just as strong. Hopefully this is going to help you. Let's get to putting in that cowl. Okay, if you guys remember the 71 CUDA that we were working on, well, we wound up finding that the cowl was rusted, the inner and the outer, and part of the firewall. So now we're going to have to cut this whole thing out and install a new one. We're going to show you an easy way to break all the factory welds and be able to get that cowl out in one piece. Let's get started. Let's get to it, and I'll show you probably the easiest way to get these things apart. Just remember, before you do any of this stuff, you have to brace the car. If you don't brace that car, everything's going to come out of alignment and you're going to be screwed. Especially on a convertible where you don't have a roof, your cowl is one of the main structures of the car. So make sure that you definitely got, something on here. This is the one that you can see, and that's going to take the place of the cowl. Okay guys, let's get to it. Here's a picture of the bit. Can't get it to focus in too well, so it's basically like a hole saw. I don't know how else to put that little thing sticking out of the center. Usually you put a punch and you make a little hole, and then the punch hole, you put that piece in that doesn't wander around, and you drill it out. This piece here, we've got all new, and then this whole piece here and this entire apron is all going to be replaced. You can see the big holes that are in it. That's usually where the battery sits, and it just chewed it up. All right. Well, that's not good. This is what we found under the upper cowl. Yay! So we've got a little bit of metal work to do. Alright, one of the things you want to make sure you do is drill holes through the cowl every roughly about 3 inches, 4 inches. This way you can weld through it like the old body welds I used to do back in the factory. It takes a little time to do this, but usually what I do, just get yourself a big enough bit, usually a 1/8, drill the hole through, and what's good about it is when it hits the other side, it will usually shave all the gunk off of the firewall, the rust and stuff, so that you can get a nice weld. I usually try to put a weld on each side of any holes that are there, as well as around, like we said, every little nook and cranny, so to speak. So let's get to that. Is get yourself some self-tapping screws with a driver head. This way you can actually draw the metal in really close. Just put them here and there along the whole line where the welding's got to be. Alright, once you got all that done, it's time to weld.
this is Wayne Arthur. I'm the owner of Cornbread. It's an 88 Bronco 2 from Clewiston, Florida. It's been cut in half, narrowed 8 inches. I chopped the top 6 inches. It's got a 302 motor, C6 transmission. It's got a 2-wheel drive Jeep front end, solid axle, F-150 rear end. It's got patio chairs, metal patio chairs for seats. It's got a toolbox for all my air management. The drive shaft tunnel is an old muffler that I had laying around. The dashboard is actually the fenders that I cut off the front end, used as my dash. Got a redneck air conditioner. The grill is actually from a house air conditioner. The headlights were found in a buddy of mine's yard. He found it with a backhoe. He ran the whole truck over. We salvaged the headlight buckets out of it. They're from a Studebaker pickup. I don't even know what year it is. But they were free, so it worked.